She told me, "Relax. It's just a dance," while grinding on her ex at her sister's wedding. I walked out, and everything in my life was shattered. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you're ready for the full story. I always thought Rachel and I had something real. We met at a friend's birthday party 2 years ago, and from the start, it felt effortless. She was funny, confident, and had this way of lighting up every room she walked into. I'm quieter, more of a listener, and she always said she liked that I balanced her out. At first, it seemed like we complemented each other perfectly. But somewhere along the way, that balance started feeling one-sided. Rachel worked in event planning, which meant her weekends were almost always full. Weddings, corporate events, client parties, and last-minute planning emergencies. I didn't mind. I trusted her. I always told her to have fun, be safe, and enjoy herself, never wanting to be the jealous boyfriend. I liked thinking of myself as secure, calm, and supportive. Then Dylan appeared. Dylan was her high school ex, someone she hadn't spoken to in years, or so she said. At first, it seemed innocent. She ran into him at a coffee shop one day and casually mentioned it, saying, "He's actually not as bad as I remember." I shrugged it off. People change. Old acquaintances reconnect. I wanted to believe her, but then he started showing up everywhere. Her Instagram stories, work events, random run-ins. The first time I mentioned it, she rolled her eyes and said, "You're reading too much into it. We're just friends." I wanted to believe her again. I really did. Still, it was hard to ignore the shift in her behavior. She became colder, less affectionate, and more sarcastic. Texts I sent would go unread for hours, sometimes days. If I tried to say something sweet, she'd respond later with, "Sorry, I was busy." When I asked about her day, she'd sigh, "It was fine. You don't have to ask every single time." At first, I thought she was stressed. Her sister's wedding was approaching, and Rachel was helping with every tiny detail. I tried to support her wherever I could, helping with errands, covering a few unexpected costs, and keeping her family happy. Her parents loved me for it. They'd tell me I was the calm one Rachel needed, someone who grounded her when she got too reckless. I wanted to believe everything was fine. 2 nights before the wedding, Rachel sent me a text. "Dylan might be there with a date, so don't make things awkward." I stared at the message. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a discussion. Just a warning. I typed out a short note, acknowledged it, and left it at that. Her thumbs-up emoji later felt like a small challenge, a reminder that I was supposed to relax while she did whatever she wanted. I kept telling myself to stay calm. After all, it was her sister's wedding. I didn't want to ruin the day for anyone, and I genuinely cared about her family. But deep down, a quiet unease had started growing, a tension that had nothing to do with jealousy. It was a feeling of being disrespected in small, subtle ways, enough to make me anxious even when I tried to convince myself I was overthinking things. The wedding day finally arrived. Rachel looked stunning in her bridesmaid dress, and for a moment, I almost forgot all the tension that had been building for weeks. She came over, kissed me on the cheek, and whispered, "Try to smile today, okay? My family loves when you pretend to be social." Pretend. That one word lingered in my mind all afternoon. The ceremony went beautifully. Flowers, vows, laughter. Everything seemed normal. I sat next to her parents, talking quietly, trying to focus on the moment rather than the gnawing unease in my chest. Rachel floated around the room, checking on guests, helping her sister with small last-minute details. She would occasionally touch my shoulder, give a quick smile, and then vanish again, swept into the whirlwind of celebration. Dinner passed without incident. I chatted with her dad about work, laughed with a few cousins, and tried to enjoy myself. Rachel was lively, glowing, the center of attention as always. I told myself to stop overthinking. She was just being social, having fun, nothing more. Then came the reception. The lights dimmed, The DJ cued the first songs, and couples began filling the dance floor. Newlyweds shared their first dance, then the upbeat tracks got everyone moving. Rachel, of course, was right in the middle of it, pulling her sister and bridesmaids into a circle, laughing and twirling. I stayed seated with her parents, sipping a drink, watching everything unfold. And then I saw him, Dylan, her ex. He walked in confidently, sleeves rolled up, tie loosened, that smug grin plastered on his face. He greeted a few people, hugged the groom, and soon made his way to the dance floor. Rachel noticed immediately. Her smile shifted subtly, the kind of change only someone close could see. They began talking. At first, I tried to rationalize it. They were standing a few feet apart, laughing, catching up. Maybe it was harmless. But when a slow, sultry song started playing, everything changed. Dylan stepped closer, resting his hands lightly on her waist. Rachel hesitated for a moment, glanced around, then leaned into him. And suddenly, they were grinding. Not casual side-to-side dancing either. Her back pressed against his chest, hands on his shoulders, hair brushing his jaw. Her parents noticed too. Her mom's face fell. Her dad muttered under his breath. I froze. My chest felt hollow. The air seemed to vanish. Rachel looked over her shoulder at me mid-dance. And instead of stopping, she smirked. I couldn't stay. I didn't argue. I didn't text. I needed air, space, distance. I walked past the buffet table, out the door, and into the night. Her voice called after me. Ethan, come on! It's just a dance. Relax. Just a dance. The words haunted me as I got into my car and drove home, silent, furious, hollow. By the time I reached home, my phone was already lighting up. Messages from Rachel, her family, even her sister. Where did you go? You're overreacting. It was literally just a dance. One bitter, quiet laugh escaped me. This wasn't jealousy. It was a boundary being crossed, plain and simple. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. I sat in silence, thinking about everything I had seen, how casually she had disregarded me, her words, and her family's discomfort. That night, I realized some things can't be explained away or fixed with apologies. Some lines, once crossed, mark the beginning of the end. The morning after the wedding, I didn't show up for brunch. I didn't reply to any of her messages. Rachel's texts had shifted in tone overnight, from defensive to pleading to angry. Ethan, you seriously left over that? Dylan means nothing. It was just fun. Then came the pleading, please, I'll come by. Can we just talk? By the time she got home that night, her things were already in boxes. The lock code changed. Her flood of messages didn't stop. Some were from her mom, apologizing for the chaos. Some from her sister, trying to smooth things over. But Rachel's messages were relentless. They went from sadness to bitterness. You're just done. You don't understand. God, you're pathetic. The same old playbook. Minimize what she did. Deflect blame. Rewrite the story. I stayed silent. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Her actions had spoken louder than words ever could. I focused on myself, on reclaiming peace. I let her frustration and anger roll off me like water. That silence was louder than any argument. Days turned into a week, and I heard rumors through mutual friends. Dylan, it turned out, had started seeing someone else almost immediately after the wedding. He told people Rachel had thrown herself at him, and he was just being polite. I didn't feel pity, not anger, just nothing. I stayed detached. Her family's reactions were intense. Her mom refused to talk about the wedding. Her sister's husband banned Dylan from all future events. And Rachel? She was miserable. Drinking too much, arguing with anyone who would listen, lashing out at the family she claimed to love. Meanwhile, my life slowly returned to normal. I went back to work, focused on the gym, reconnected with friends who respected me, and enjoyed the quiet that had been missing for months. The apartment felt bigger, cleaner, calmer. Then, almost 6 months later, Rachel reached out again. At first, it was a text from an unknown number. Hey, can we please talk? I stared at it for a moment, recognizing her voice in the words. I ignored it at first. Then came another. I saw you in Megan's story. You look happy. I just wish things had gone differently. I miss you, Ethan, I considered replying, briefly tempted to hear her version of the story. But I stayed calm and typed carefully. What do you want, Rachel? Her response was almost immediate. Closure. I've been through a lot since the wedding. Lost friends. Families still cold. Dylan turned out to be a total jerk. I just wanted to say sorry. I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. You were always good to me. Her words carried the familiar tone of someone desperate to regain control. I didn't respond immediately. Then came another message. I know you hate me, but maybe we could get coffee sometime, just to catch up. I typed slowly, deliberately. No need. I already have closure, she replied quickly, almost angrily. You really don't care anymore, do you? After everything, after us, you just moved on like I never mattered. I took a breath, typed carefully. You mattered. You just don't anymore. Silence. Finally, she responded, Wow, guess I deserve that. I hope she treats you better than I did. If there's someone else, is there? I smiled quietly. No one else? I just have peace now. That's enough. A few months later, I ran into Megan again over coffee. She told me Rachel had moved back in with her parents, quit her job, and was taking time to figure things out. Her dad still refused to mention the wedding. Her sister's husband banned Dylan from future events. And whenever someone joked about pulling a Rachel, she would leave the room in tears. Megan asked if I ever thought about reaching out. I shook my head. I didn't hate her. I had simply stopped trying to understand her. Life was quiet. My days were filled with work, training for a marathon, and people who respected my time. The apartment felt calm. My mind felt calm. And when I walked past a restaurant hosting a wedding reception one evening, I paused. Music, dancing, laughter. For a split second, I thought of that night, her voice telling me to relax. And then I let it go. I wanted peace. She wanted attention. And that was the difference. Months passed. Rachel's messages had long stopped, and I finally felt the kind of quiet I hadn't known in years. Work was busy but fulfilling. The gym became my sanctuary, and weekends were spent with people who truly respected my time and energy. My apartment felt bigger, cleaner, calmer. For the first time in a long while, I wasn't constantly bracing for drama. Then, one Friday evening, an unknown number popped up on my phone. Hey, it's me. Can we talk? For a moment, I hesitated. Recognizing her words, I realized it was Rachel again. I deleted the message without replying, just as I had countless times before. A minute later, another came. I saw you in Megan's story. You look happy. I just wish things had gone differently. I miss you, Ethan. I paused, then replied calmly. What do you want, Rachel? Almost immediately, she responded, Closure. I've been through a lot since the wedding. Lost friends. Family's still cold. Dylan turned out to be a total jerk. I just wanted to say sorry. I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. You were always good to me. Maybe too good. I leaned back and read her words carefully. The tone was familiar, desperate, trying to control the narrative, hoping to pull me back. But I stayed quiet. She sent another message. I know you probably hate me, but maybe we could get coffee sometime, just to catch up. I typed slowly, deliberately. No need. I already have closure. Her next text came fast, shaky, almost pleading. You really don't care anymore, do you? After everything, after us, you just moved on like I never mattered. I thought about the countless times she had crossed boundaries, disregarded my feelings, and tried to rewrite what happened. I took a deep breath and replied simply, You mattered. You just don't anymore. Silence followed. Eventually, she sent one last message. Wow. Guess I deserve that. I hope she treats you better than I did. If there's someone else, is there? I smiled faintly at the screen and typed, No one else. I just have peace now. That's enough. That was it. No more messages, no drama, just silence. I didn't need to explain, justify, or argue. I had finally reclaimed my space, my peace, and my dignity. A few months later, I ran into Megan again over coffee. She updated me on Rachel. She had moved back in with her parents, quit her job, and was taking time to figure herself out. Her dad still refused to talk about the wedding. Her sister's husband had banned Dylan from family events, and whenever someone joked about pulling a Rachel, she would leave the room in tears. Megan asked if I ever thought about reaching out. I shook my head. I didn't hate her. I had simply stopped trying to understand her chaos. Life had settled into a rhythm that felt healthy. I focused on myself, my friends, my work, and my goals. Running, training, socializing with people who respected me. It all felt simple, but profoundly satisfying. My apartment was calm. My mind was calm. For the first time, I wasn't reacting to someone else's drama. I was living my own life. One evening, as I walked past a restaurant hosting a wedding reception, music spilling out into the street, I paused. Couples danced, people laughed, lights twinkled. For a split second, my mind wandered back to that night. Rachel's voice, telling me to relax while grinding on her ex. The tension, the betrayal. And then just like that, the thought passed. I wanted peace. She wanted attention. And I finally had the clarity to see the difference. I walked on, calm and confident, knowing I had made the right choice. No rage, no regrets, just peace. And that was it. Top Reddit comments say things like, "Wow, I didn't see that twist coming." She played the long game perfectly. He got what he deserved. I felt that ending deep. One of the best stories I've heard here. That's the end of the story. Thanks for watching. And remember to like and watch our other videos too.